All right, I want you to take a second and look at your phone. Look at the calendar. It is Thursday, February 19th, 2026.
Mm-hmm.
If you are anything like me, a total basketball sicko, you probably had a moment of pure panic last night. You opened your Scores app, you refreshed the feed, maybe you check your fantasy lineup, and there was nothing.
Oh, the void. It was staring right back at us.
It really was the void.
Yeah.
There were 0 NBA games played yesterday.
Yeah.
We were sitting right here in this weird, quiet little vacuum between the chaos of the All-Star break and the final sprint of the season, which, thank goodness, kicks off tomorrow.
Right.
But honestly, I was thinking about this on the drive into the studio today. This silence is actually perfect.
So how so? Usually you are climbing the walls if there is no game on. You're watching historic highlights from 1994 just to feel something.
I am, usually.
Oh.
But this silence gives us a second to breathe. It gives us a moment to look at the board, look at the standings, and stop lying to ourselves.
Huh, okay.
Because that is what we do from October through February, isn't it?
Yeah.
We lie.
We definitely do. We get seduced. It happens every single year.
Exactly. We get seduced by the numbers. We see a guy drop 40 points on a Tuesday in January against a tanking team, maybe the Wizards, maybe the Hornets, and we convince ourselves, oh yeah, that translates. That guy's going to win us a ring in June.
Yep.
We see the highlights, we see the box scores, and we build these narratives that are essentially castles made of sand.
It is the empty calorie era of the NBA. That's the best way to describe it. The regular season has become this beautiful, shiny veneer. It is a fresh coat of paint.
Right.
But you don't know if the house has a crumbling foundation until a hurricane hits and the playoffs. That is the hurricane.
That is the perfect analogy. And that is why today, on this deep dive, we are doing something different. I am taking the MVP ladder, and I am throwing it in the trash.
Bold. The listeners love the MVP ladder.
I know they do. But today, I don't care who is leading the straw polls. I don't care about the narrative awards. Today, we are applying what we are calling the truth serum.
I love this concept. Let's inject it.
The concept is simple, but it is brutal. We were looking strictly at playoff trust.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine a scenario. It is April or May of 2026.
Okay.
Your life, literally your mortal soul, depends on winning a 7-game series. The game has slowed down. The referees have swallowed their whistles. The opposing coaching staff knows every single play you are going to run. In that environment, who do you actually trust?
That is the only question that matters right now. Because when you administer that truth serum, a lot of very famous, very wealthy resumes start to dissolve.
They really do.
We have to separate the flare raisers, the guys who are fun, who get you 45 wins and a nice standing ovation in round 1 from the ceiling raisers, the ones who hold the trophy. And looking at the landscape right now, in 2026, that list is terrifyingly small.
Let's get right into it then. You have broken this down into tiers for us. We are starting at the top of the mountain, tier 1. You call these the championship alphas, or the undeniables. Give me the definition here. What gets a player into tier 1?
It is a very, very strict club. To be in tier 1, you have to answer yes to one specific question. Can you be the best player on a championship team?
Yeah.
And I don't mean theoretically, I don't mean if he develops a left hand. I mean, have you done it recently, or are your metrics so historic and scalable that it is undeniable?
So no potential, only proof.
Only proof. And we have to start with the man who is currently sitting on top of the basketball world. The reigning 2025 Finals MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay, let's talk SGA.
Yeah.
And first off, for the 3 people listening who have been living under a rock for the last few years, let's get the pronunciation right immediately.
It is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Put some respect on the name.
If we are talking trust, Shai feels like the gold standard right now. I was looking at the standings this morning. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 42-14.
Number 1 in the West.
They're sitting pretty at first in the West. That doesn't happen by accident.
It definitely doesn't. And it is not just the team record. It is the individual resume he is building. He is second in the league in scoring right now at 31.8 points per game. He is dishing out 6.4 assists.
Right.
But the number that blows my mind every single time I look at it is the efficiency. He is shooting 55.4% from the field.
As a guard.
As a guard. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
Usually, if you see a guard shooting 55%, he's just dunking the ball in backdoors, or he's exclusively a transition player.
Right.
Shai is taking tough shots. He is taking mid-range jumpers, contested fadeaways, isolation drives into traffic, and he is making them at a clip that centers usually shoot.
Those are video game numbers.
They are.
But we said we aren't looking at regular season numbers. We're looking at trust. And the biggest trust factor for me isn't the 31 points per game, it is the hardware he picked up last June. He is the reigning 2025 Finals MVP.
That trophy changes the conversation entirely. Once you have done it, you have equity. You have crest equity. But here is why I rank him as the safest stock in the NBA. It isn't just the peak, it is the floor.
Okay.
Do you know how many consecutive games he has scored 20 or more points in?
I know it is a lot, but give me the exact number.
112 games. 112.
Wow.
Think about the consistency required to do that.
That is absurd. That goes back seasons.
It does. Think about your own job. Do you have 112 perfect days in a row? No. You have sick days, you have days where you're tired, you have days where the matchup is bad. For Shy, it doesn't matter. Double teams, he gets 20. Back-to-backs, he gets 20. Flu game, he gets 20.
Yeah.
It is what I call boring efficiency, and boring wins titles. In the 2025 championship run, he led the entire playoffs in win shares at 3.9 and total points with 688. That is the definition of reliability.
Okay, let me play the skeptic here, because that is my job. We are applying truth serum, not just reading his fan mail.
I see you squinting. What do you see?
There are some cracks in the armor if you look closely. First off, availability right now. He has missed the last 5 games with an abdominal injury. I know the reports say he is expected back tomorrow against Brooklyn, but soft tissue injuries, abdominals, those things linger. They sap your burst.
Yeah.
If he can't stop on a dime because his core hurts, does that efficiency drop?
That is a valid medical concern. Soft tissue is tricky, no doubt.
And secondly, let's talk about the truth serum data from that playoff run last year. Yes, they won the title. Nobody can take that away. But his efficiency actually took a massive hit.
It did.
I was looking at the advanced stats. His true shooting percentage, which measures twos, threes, and free throws all together, it dropped from around 64% in the regular season down to 52.8% in a specific 5-game stretch during the playoffs.
Right.
When elite defenses really keyed in on him, he wasn't the hyper-efficient robot we see in February.
That is a fair statistical observation. 52.8% is pedestrian for a superstar. But you have to contextualize it.
Go ahead.
Playoff basketball is a different sport. Efficiency drops for almost everyone. Why? Because the transition buckets disappear. You don't get easy layups. You have to play against a set defense for 48 minutes.
Sure, but a 12% drop, that is significant.
Here's why it didn't matter. Even when the shot wasn't falling, his volume and his activity didn't waver.
Okay.
In that same run, where his shooting dipped, his defensive stats spiked, he is averaging 1.3 steals and 0.8 blocks per game. He wins possessions on both ends.
So he finds other ways to impact the game.
Exactly. Even when his shot isn't falling at a 60% clip, he is controlling the tempo. He requires the least amount of schematic help to function. Some guys need a screen, they need spacing, they need a specific matchup. You give Shy the ball, he gets to his spot, he makes a play. Even if he misses a few, the defense is so terrified of him that it opens up everything else. That is trust.
It is hard to argue with the ring. I will give you that. But let's pivot to the other giant in the room, a guy who has won 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
A guy who's currently putting up numbers that, frankly, they don't make sense to the human brain.
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic.
And pronounced Nikola Jokic, the Joker.
The Denver Nuggets are currently 35-20, sitting 3rd in the West. That is a respectable record.
Right.
But Jokic, listen to this stat line, 28.7 points, 12.3 rebounds, 10.7 assists.
A triple-double.
He is averaging a triple-double. Again.
It is normalized now, which is the crazy part.
Yeah.
We are bored by greatness.
We are. And look at the advanced stats. His player efficiency rating, PER, is 34.9. For the listeners who might not be stat heads, PER basically tries to boil all of a player's contributions down to one number. The league average is 15.
Right.
Michael Jordan's best season was around 31. Jokic is at 35. He is first in the league. His offensive box plus-minus is 11.5, also first. He is the most comprehensive offensive engine in the history of the sport.
He is the systematic solve. That is how I label him. There is no coverage you can throw at him that he can't dismantle.
Right.
You double him, he finds the cutter for a layup. You play him single coverage, he backs you down and scores. You play zone, he tears it apart from the high post. He is a computer that solves defenses in real time.
The talent is undeniable. But here is where the truth serum gets bitter. We have to talk about the anxiety, the availability anxiety. The knee. Jokic has missed 16 games this season with a hyperextended left knee. And we need to remind everyone about the new league rules. To be eligible for MVP or All-NBA, you have to play 65 games.
Right. It was put in place to stop load management.
Jokic has played 49 games. There are roughly 27 games left. He can literally only miss one more game this season.
Wow.
One. If he tweaks an ankle stepping off the bus, he is out of the MVP race.
The eligibility anxiety is huge for the narrative and the voters. But let me stop you there. We aren't talking about the MVP trophy.
Okay.
We are talking about playoff trusts.
Okay, fair distinction. Does the award eligibility matter for winning a ring?
No. If I need to win a series in May, I don't care about the 65-game rule. I care about the 48 minutes on the court. And even on a bad knee, Jokic is terrifying.
What is he?
Look at the 2025 playoff loss to OKC last year.
They lost that series pretty convincingly.
They did. But was it Jokic's fault? He averaged 26.2 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 8 assists in that series. He didn't fail. The team might have been outmatched, the roster was thin, but he didn't fail. Even on one leg. He is the best decision-maker in basketball. You trust him because he guarantees you a quality shot every single time down the floor.
But defensively,
Yeah.
that is where the trust wavers for me. If that knee isn't 100%, he becomes a target. We saw OKC attack him in space last year.
They did.
They put him in pick and roll after pick and roll. They made him dance. If he is hobbled in 2026, can he survive that isolation targeting against a team like Minnesota or OKC?
That is the only question mark. If he can't move laterally, he is a liability on defense.
Yeah.
But offensively, he is perfect. It is a tug of war, but I still trust him more than almost anyone else because he solves problems.
All right, so we have the robot, SGA, and the computer, Jokic. Let's move to the third name in our Tier 1. The wild card, the young wolf, Anthony Edwards.
The Jordan-esque aesthetic.
Minnesota is 34-22, 6th in the West. That feels a little low for a Tier 1 guy, doesn't it? Being 6th implies you're struggling a bit.
It does, but hear me out. Context matters. And when we talk about Anthony Edwards, we are talking about the psychology of the final shot.
He is currently the betting favorite for Clutch Player of the Year at plus 110. So Vegas agrees with you.
Vegas knows there is nobody in the league you want holding the ball more than Ant when the clock is winding down. He has that swagger. But it isn't just attitude, it is the mechanics.
Break that down. Why is his game more trustworthy than, say, a guy who shoots more threes?
Because he generates his own shot against elite rim protection. When the game slows down in the playoffs, you can't run your fancy motion offense. The defense switches everything.
Right.
You need a guy who can look at his defender and say, I'm going to get to the rim or I'm going to pull up from 15 feet and you cannot stop me. Ant does that better than anyone not named Luka or Shai.
And looking at his 2025 playoff stats, 24.3 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.7 assists, he shows up. He doesn't shrink.
He doesn't shrink. That is the key. Some guys get tight. Ant gets loose.
But I have to push back on the seeding. 6th in the West. If he's a true Tier 1 championship alpha, shouldn't he be dragging that team to 50 wins? Is he a floor raiser, a guy who makes a bad team good? Or is he just a ceiling raiser, a guy who needs a perfect ecosystem to win?
I think he has proven he can carry the load, but you are right. He hasn't shown the consistency of Jokic or SGA. He has nights where he goes 6 for 22. He has nights where he looks bored. But in a 7-game series, I am betting on the guy who can physically dominate his matchup. He is Tier 1 because the fear factor he puts into the other team is palpable.
So if you had to pick one, we have got the robot, the computer, and the wolf.
Yeah.
Gun to your head, Game 7, 2026. Who is the most reliable superstar in the league right now?
That's tough. It's really tough. But for me, it has to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
You're sticking with Shai.
It is the reliability. Jokic has the knee concern. That is a physical limit. Ant has the seeding questions and the consistency issues. Shai has the ring. He has the 112-game streak. And his game is impervious to defensive adjustments. He requires the least amount of help to be dominant. He is the safest stock on Wall Street.
That is a bold statement, considering we have a 3-time MVP in the other corner. But the consistency argument is hard to beat. Now, let's move down a level. This is where it gets spicy. This is where the arguments start.
Segment 2. Tier 2. Let's do it.
Tier 2. We call this elite, but with questions. These are guys putting up MVP caliber numbers. If you looked at the box score, you would think they were Tier 1.
Right.
But when we administer the truth serum, the red flags start waving. And we have to start with the man leading the league in scoring, Luka Doncic.
Pronounced Luka Doncic, now wearing the purple and gold.
The Lakers are 33-21, 5th in the West. Luka is averaging 32.8 points per game, leading the entire NBA along with 8.6 assists. On paper, that sounds like the best player in the world.
On paper it is, but you have to dig deeper. You have to look at the cost of those points.
Let's dig.
Yeah.
Because the deeper you go, the uglier it gets. He's taking 22 shots a game, which is the most in the NBA. He's dominating the ball.
Yeah.
But his efficiency from deep, it has fallen off a cliff. He is shooting his lowest three-point percentage since the 2022-23 season.
And that is the problem. It is the heliocentric dilemma.
Define that for us, heliocentric.
Think of the solar system. The sun is in the middle and everything orbits around it.
Right.
In basketball, a heliocentric offense means one player has the ball all the time. Everything runs through Luka. The theory was when he moved to LA to pair with LeBron, it would change. LeBron is 41 years old now.
Which is a miracle in itself that he's still playing.
It is, but LeBron is playing a secondary role now. The idea was that LeBron would take the load off Luka, allow Luka to play off the ball, catch and shoot, be more efficient. Instead, Luka is working harder than ever. He is pounding the rock for 18 seconds every possession, and the returns are diminishing.
And there is this narrative out there, I'm sure you have seen it on social media, about empty stats.
Oh, yeah.
The Lakers are barely staying afloat above the play-in line despite him putting up 33 a night. If you are scoring 33 and your team is fighting for the 5th seed, are you elevating your teammates or are you just eating first?
That is the harsh truth. And we haven't even talked about the other end of the floor. His defensive rating is 114.6.
Oh.
That is not good. That is traffic cone territory. In the regular season, you can hide him. You put him on the worst shooter in the corner. You play zone. But in the playoffs, teams will hunt him.
They're going to find him.
We saw it in Dallas, and we're going to see it in LA. If I am the coach of OKC or Minnesota, I am running a pick and roll at Luka Doncic 50 times a game. I am going to make him defend. And if he is tired from defending, his shot goes flat. It is a vicious cycle.
It feels like the same story in a different jersey, doesn't it? Great numbers, highlight passes, but does it translate to 16 wins in the postseason? Right now, that trust is shaky.
Very shaky.
But let's compare him to a guy whose stock is skyrocketing in a way nobody expected in 2026. Cade Cunningham.
The Detroit Pistons, 40-13.
Let me repeat that because it sounds big. Okay. The Detroit Pistons have the best record in the entire NBA.
I know.
Better than Boston. Better than OKC.
It is real. And Cade Cunningham is the engine. He is averaging 25.3 points and 9.6 assists. He is second in the league in assists. He leads the NBA in total assists with 452.
It is shocking to see Detroit at the top of the standings. And Cade has been what you call the durable winner.
Yeah.
He has played 47 of 53 games.
Yeah.
In this era of load management, that is a massive skill.
Availability is a skill.
Yeah.
The best ability is availability.
I have to push back on the playoff trust here. We were talking about the playoffs.
Okay.
Cade has zero deep playoff pedigree. We've never seen him win a series. His PER is 22.1, which is very good, but it is not God tier like Jokic at 35 or SGA at 32. Can he score efficiently when the game grinds down? In Game 6, down by 2, do you trust Cade's jumper the way you trust Ant Edwards?
That is the question. We haven't seen him do it on the big stage, but here's why I trust him. Decision-making. Cade isn't just a scorer. He is a controller. He manages the tempo of the game better than almost anyone.
Okay.
He's orchestrating the best team in basketball. And honestly, I rank him above Luka on the trust meter right now.
Whoa. Stop the music. You are putting Cade Cunningham, who has never won a playoff series, above Luka Doncic, a guy who has been to the finals.
I am, yes.
Explain yourself. You have to back that up.
2 words. Defense and buy-in. Detroit has the second-rated defense in the league. Cade buys into that system. He fights over screens. He uses his length. He isn't a liability.
And Luka is.
Luka is a liability. In the playoffs, you cannot hide your weakest link. The chain breaks. Cade isn't a weak link. Luka is a target. That matters more than raw scoring average when you are trying to win a ring.
That is a scorching hot take. I am not sure I agree. Talent usually wins out, and Luka has more raw talent.
Yeah.
But I see the logic. If you can't defend, you can't stay on the floor in the finals.
Exactly.
Speaking of defense, let's talk about the alien in San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama.
Pronounced Wembanyama. The Spurs are 38-16, second in the West.
And frankly, he is the defensive player of the year. It is not even a debate anymore.
It isn't. He is averaging 2.7 blocks per game, leading the league, but blocks don't even tell the story. His defensive rating is 101.6. In the modern NBA, with all this scoring, a 101 defensive rating is absurd. He alters the geometry of the court.
I love that phrase, geometry of the court. What does that mean for the listener?
It means players just don't shoot when he is near the paint. They drive, they see him, and they dribble back out. He forces teams to take shots they don't want to take just by existing.
The impact is undeniable. He is averaging 24.4 points and 11.1 rebounds to go with that defense. But here's the trust gap for me. We have to talk about the minutes police.
So restrictions.
The Spurs have him on a strict restriction, often playing under 30 minutes a game. He has missed 14 games already.
Right.
Playoff basketball is 40-plus minutes of intensity.
Right.
You have to play big minutes. We have never seen Wemby do that. If the Spurs unleash him for 42 minutes in the Game 7 against OKC, does his body hold up or does he break down?
That is the massive gamble. You are betting on a theoretical workload that we haven't seen in practice. He is also facing that award eligibility cliff we talked about with Jokic. He can only miss 3 more games. But the defensive trust is absolute. If he is on the floor, he is the most impactful defensive player since maybe Bill Russell, maybe Hakeem Olajuwon. It is that level.
That is high praise.
But you are right. If he can't play 40 minutes, can you trust him to win you a series against a team that plays their stars 44 minutes? It is a huge question mark. That gap, those 10 minutes where he sits, could be where you lose the series.
So Tier 2 is basically incredible talent, but can they stay on the floor? Can they defend? And does their style translate?
You got it.
It is a fascinating mix. Now let's go to Tier 3, regular season merchants.
I put a question mark there, but yeah, regular season merchants.
These are the stars whose dominance feels fragile. When the truth serum hits, these resumes might dissolve. And we have to look at the Eastern Conference first. Jaylen Brown.
The Boston Celtics are 35-19, second in the East. And Jaylen Brown is having a career year statistically. 29.3 points per game. That is a career high.
But the context is everything. We have to mention the elephant in the room. Jason Tatum is out for the season.
The torn Achilles? It is a tragedy for the league. But it has forced Brown into the alpha role. He is the guy now.
He's putting up monster volume. But the advanced metrics, they tell a scary story.
They do.
And there is a narrative out there, backed by some data, that Boston is statistically better, or at least more balanced, with him off the court.
The Ewing theory potential.
Right. When he sits, the bench mob steps up, the ball moves better, the defense rotates faster. Is he putting up empty calories because someone has to shoot?
I think empty calories is harsh because he is scoring effectively, but there is a ceiling. Without Tatum's gravity, and remember, Tatum was the guy who drew the double teams, who organized the offense, defenses in the playoffs are going to load up entirely on Jaylen Brown.
And attack his handle.
They are going to attack his handle.
Yeah.
His dribbling has always been the critique. And in the playoffs, when the pressure ramps up, if your handle is loose, you turn it over. They're going to force him to be a playmaker, which has never been his elite skill.
So what's the prediction?
I predict a turnover-heavy second-round exit for Boston. He's a great scorer, but as a number 1 option on a championship team, the trust isn't there.
It is a brutal assessment. But history suggests that second options struggle when forced to be the primary engine against playoff defenses.
Exactly.
Let's move to the Western Conference and talk about a legend, Kevin Durant.
The Houston Rockets, 33-20, 4th in the West.
It feels weird to put KD in Tier 3.
Yeah.
He is one of the greatest scorers ever. But he is 37 years old now.
This is what I call the legacy sunset. KD is averaging about 25.8 points per game. He is still efficient. He is still KD. But look at the Rockets.
They're good.
They are winning by committee. They are deep.
Is KD just a luxury piece at this point?
That is exactly what he is. He is the ultimate luxury. If you need a bucket in the last 2 minutes, sure, you trust him. But do you trust his body to get you to the last 2 minutes of the finals?
Right.
Can he carry the offensive load for 4 rounds? I don't think so.
It reminds me of Steph Curry, who is also 37.
Exactly. Like Steph, KD can no longer be the primary engine for 100 games a year. The Rockets are a good team, but KD isn't the system anymore. He is the cherry on top. And in the playoffs, you need the cake to be solid. If the Rockets rely on him to score 35 a night to win, they will lose. If he can be the guy who scores 20 efficiently and hits the dagger, maybe. But that isn't a Tier 1 alpha anymore.
It is the reality of Father Time. It comes for us all. And finally, let's talk about a guy who is trying to carry a massive load in Philadelphia, Tyrese Maxey.
The 76ers are 30-24, 6th in the East. And Maxey.
Man, you have to respect the effort. He leads the NBA in total clutch points with 136.
That is a crazy stat. He is owning the 4th quarter.
He is. And he has played a league-high 2,008 minutes. He's doing everything for that team.
But that is the problem, isn't it? He is doing everything because Joel Embiid has faded or is dealing with his own issues. Maxey is the clutch king statistically. But is this burnout waiting to happen?
That is my fear. He is a small guard. He is fast. He is skilled, but he is small. And he is carrying a usage rate that is through the roof. So what happens in April?
He is a regular season merchant, not by choice, but by necessity. He will be exhausted by April. We see this all the time with small guards who carry huge loads.
Yeah.
They get to the playoffs, the physicality ramps up, they get bumped off their spots, the refs stop calling the touch fouls and their legs are gone. I think he gets crushed in a physical playoff series. He is incredible, but the workload is unsustainable.
It's the cruelest part of the NBA. You give everything in February just to keep your team afloat, and you have nothing left for May. So taking a step back, looking at these three tiers, it really clarifies things. You have the guys you trust with your life, SGA, Jokic, Ant. You have the elite talents with major questions, Luka, Cade, Wemby, and then you have the situations that just feel fragile, Brown, KD, Maxey.
That is the reality, and remember, the season restarts tomorrow, February 20th. SGA is expected back against Brooklyn. The race is back on. But keep this list in mind. When you are watching the games next week, don't just look at the box score.
Right.
Don't just look at who scored 30. Look at the how. Look at who is relying on athleticism that might fade and who is relying on skills that translate.
And before we get out of here, I want to leave the listeners with one name, a name for the future of this list. We didn't talk about him today because he is a rookie, but Cooper Flagg in Dallas is averaging 20, 6, and 4.
The kid is special.
He is 19 years old. He isn't on the trust list yet, obviously. But watching him play, he is coming for someone's spot next year. Maybe one of those Tier 3 guys, or even Tier 2.
Oh, yeah.
The hierarchy is always shifting.
It never stands still. That is the beauty of the league. But for right now, for 2026, I am riding with Shy.
There you have it. The truth serum has been administered. We will see who survives the side effects come April. Enjoy the games tomorrow. We'll be watching.
We love the 30-point games in February, but let's be real. Come April, numbers don't win you a title. Superstars do.